breaking down the Vikings from the perspective of a former NFL General Manager of the Year. It's Jeff Diamond's Purple Report, presented by your select Minnesota Buick GMC dealers.
Welcome to Jeff Diamond's Purple Report, brought to you every Monday and Thursday during the Vikings season by your select Minnesota Buick GMC dealers and the 2025 GMC Sierra 1500 on 1500 ESPN, available 24/7 on YouTube via link from the Score North website. I'm Jeff Diamond, former Vikings GM, former Tennessee Titans president. Our producer is Robbie Rosenhaus, does a great job getting all of our clips and audio and getting us on the air. And Robbie, that was the Vikings team on Sunday at US Bank Stadium that thrashed the Commanders 31-0. That was the hoped for version of the 2025 Minnesota Vikings that, unfortunately for Purple Nation, we haven't seen enough of this season, but it was certainly out in force on Sunday. Played a great game. And of course, it started with young quarterback J.J. McCarthy with his career best performance. He produced career highs with 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions for the first time in a game in his 7 starts, a 69.4% completion rate, and a passer rating of 129.4. We take it with a slight grain of salt because the Commanders came in with the 31st ranked pass defense. But hey, take it when you can get it. Incremental strides for the young quarterback and for the entire team. The defense harkens back to 2024 with the 3 takeaways when they led the league in takeaways. This year it's been slim pickings, a +3 turnover ratio, no giveaways by the offense, and special teams, no major miscues such as in the Bears game. A rushing attack that was really solid, 162 yards on the ground. And so you look at that game and you say, wow, what coulda, woulda, shoulda this season if they had that kind of performance regularly. And of course, starting with McCarthy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They excelled in all 3 phases. And I thought, although McCarthy should be given flowers for his performance and not kind of throwing up all over himself as he has in recent games, for lack of a better kind of euphemism there, I thought the defense really was the star of the show yesterday, just being there in person and kind of watching from up above. I was at the 45-yard line, about 4 rows up in the upper deck. So I had a really nice bird's eye view of everything. It's a really nice view if you haven't been to the stadium, to sit in those first few rows of the upper deck. Really great seats. And I was able to see a couple of things, including JJ missing Jefferson a couple of times as he was doing calisthenics, running some streak routes up the field. But nevertheless, he made the correct decisions more often than not. But I thought the defense really was the MVP yesterday, and they balled out, especially Van Ginkel and Jonathan Allen, who we'll hear from later in today's show.
Yeah, definitely. I think you start with the fact that Kevin O'Connell wanted the team to get off to a fast start. He took the ball when they won the toss instead of deferring. He wanted them to get out on the field, have a good start to the game, get the crowd not feeling anxiety or negative feelings or the boo birds coming out. And the fact that they go right down the field starts with a nice kickoff return by Miles Price to the 39-yard line, a 61-yard drive in 7 plays. McCarthy 4 of 4 on that drive for 46, and they're running the ball. They score a touchdown. Defense a little leaky at first on that first Washington series. The Commanders running the ball, but then they get down inside the 5, and Jaden Daniels, last year's Rookie of the Year, throws 3 incompletions. He's pressured by Jonathan Allen, who you mentioned on second down. On the third down, or on the third down play, he's pressured, and it's just on 4th down, Deebo Samuel kindly drops a touchdown pass, and the Vikings get the ball back and then proceed with the drive of the year. 98 yards, 19 plays, 12:01 off the clock. Convert 5 third downs on the drive, big completions from McCarthy to Addison and Jefferson on that drive. Produced another touchdown on a run by Jordan Mason. And really, I thought that drive was just tremendous for the team. Gave it a big confidence builder. And then, as you mentioned, the defense play of the game in the third quarter by Van Ginkel on that interception. So we're going to hear these audio highlights now and kind of go back through what happened in this great performance, this great game by the Vikings.
Yeah, and they were able to start it off with that big drive. And how did they finish it off, Jeff?
Yeah, exactly. And now they'll look ahead to a Sunday night national TV game against the Dallas Cowboys. Vikings are 5-8, long shot to make the playoffs. We know that. But if they can bottle this performance the rest of the season, and the next couple of weeks, they play two defenses in Dallas and the Giants that are very leaky against the pass, two of the worst pass defenses and defenses overall in the league. So they have a chance to get a few more wins under their belt, get some more confidence for McCarthy in the offense. And if the defense can continue to force the takeaways, all of a sudden, as we said, the Vikings can get on a little bit of roll before getting into those tough last two games at home against Detroit and Green Bay. But let's go to our audio highlights. First quarter, as we mentioned, fast start that O'Connell wanted, and he got it with the Vikings on that first drive. And here was a touchdown pass. Great throw from McCarthy, who so much more accurate in this game. The coaches didn't want to be so worried about his mechanics, that just play the game, have fun, be consistent, accurate, and make completions. And that's what they were stressing, decision making. And here he came to maybe a second or third option to Josh Oliver for an 18-yard touchdown.
The other team other than Los Angeles this year. McCarthy down the seam, and what a drive for JJ and the Minnesota Vikings. Josh Oliver, the touchdown.
And as we said, the Commanders went down the field. Vikings stopped them, went on that long drive, the 12-minute drive, 98 yards. And that was culminated in this touchdown run by Jordan Mason, wide open on the left side. Great blocking. The offensive line, we've got to salute them for this game. First of all, they were intact for only the second time this season and played, I thought, an outstanding game. Yeah, McCarthy was sacked 4 times, 3 times in the first half, but some of those sacks were because he did hold the ball a little bit, but they opened up the running game, the offensive line, generally protected McCarthy well. He was able to see the field. Ryan Kelly, I thought, here's a guy, concussions he's dealt with this year, has missed 7 games, but he really had a good game. And as I said, you look at what happened in this game, and here's Jordan Mason's touchdown.
Hand is lined up off the wing and in motion and curls for the block, and Mason goes the other way. Misdirection, touchdown, Minnesota.
As I said, 5 third downs converted on that drive. We moved to the third quarter, and here was the play of the game that we talked about. Andrew Van Ginkel, and he made these plays a couple times last year, 2 pick sixes. And this particular play, he picks off the young rookie or second-year man, Jaden Daniels, last year's Rookie of the Year. Jaden made a mistake of throwing that quick outside ball, and with Van Ginkel in the vicinity, and he picked it off, deflected it to himself, and then rumbled 40 yards before Terry McLaurin could run him down.
It's batted into the air, and Andrew Van Ginkel gets the pick, chased by McLaurin, and down inside the 30-yard line.
Just a huge play. Washington, this is the opening drive of the second half. Vikings are up 14-0 at the half. Washington had driven 58 yards down to the Vikings 19. And it's a 4th and 3 play where Van Ginkel makes this play. And really such a tremendous play in the game. Huge play, obviously. The very next series, and that led to a field goal. Vikings up 17-0. Next series, Harrison Smith, his 38th career interception.
How that's actually affecting, what you're able to do on the field.
Mariota's picked up by Harrison Smith. Career interception number 38. No active player has more than Smith.
And that led to a touchdown on the ensuing drive. And this touchdown pass, again, McCarthy to Josh Oliver. Josh Oliver, 2 touchdowns, first time in his career. He's a big, important part of that offense in terms of blocking for the running game, catching some balls in the red zone. This was a 6-yard touchdown pass to Oliver, puts the Vikings up 24-0.
McCarthy off the fake. Hit as he throws, finds Oliver for a 2-touchdown day.
A couple other things, kind of under the radar. CJ Ham in this game played 41% of the snaps. He's a guy that missed several games this year with knee and hand injuries, really important part of the offense. And Kevin O'Connell used him a lot more in this game than he has. And CJ did a great job pass protecting for McCarthy, picked up a couple blitzes, and also helping to block in the run game. I think we can expect to see a lot more of CJ down the stretch in these final 4 games. Oliver, as I mentioned, a big game, Ryan Kelly, and then you talk about just the entire offense, defense, and special teams, all 3 phases contributing to the win. So big performance for the Vikings. They improved to 5-8, but most important, just a confidence builder, I think, for McCarthy, for the entire team in McCarthy, and the defense going back to their turnover causing ways, special teams not having any major mistakes. So as I said, if they can bottle this the rest of the year, I think everybody will feel certainly better going into 2026. You never know what can happen. They're not eliminated from the playoffs. It's certainly a long shot.
I got a bit of a question for you, just from kind of a 10,000-foot view as a general manager. When you're looking at short term and long term, and whether it be with the Titans or the Vikings, and you're at this point late in the season where you're not awful, you're not terrible, which means people are coming back, whether it be the coach or the GM. We all expect everybody to be back, including the quarterback at this point. So how do you sell the kind of middle players on your roster that this last month is truly to play for, and they're not just kind of playing out the string, when you're not an awful team and you do have some division opponents coming up that you really would like to play spoiler for?
Yeah, I think that's really on the coach at this stage of the game. And certainly as a GM and as a team president, I was at practice every day and I would talk to the players. And fortunately, I had more good years than troublesome years like this. But I would always try to say every game's important, regardless of what the standing is. And for all the players on the roster, this is their audition for next year. And especially for a player like JJ, it's going to make a difference in how the Vikings approach the quarterback market in the offseason. Are they going to go after a guy who could really challenge him for the starting job, or a guy that would be a really good backup guy? And I think that if McCarthy can play like this the rest of the way, then they'll feel like, okay, we've got our guy, and but they're still going to need to bring in a quality veteran number 2, just because JJ can get hurt, and we've seen that happen, obviously, and they got to find a guy better than Carson Wentz. So who is that going to be? Do they trade for a Mac Jones? Do they bring Kirk Cousins back? I mean, anything can happen. Ryan Tannehill may be a guy out there, but I think that
Cousins is not happening, Jeff. Sorry. To the 1,500 ESPN listeners and to the people watching us on YouTube 24/7, 365, the day Kirk Cousins wears a Viking uniform again will be the day that they come back and he gets to do the horn. Okay.
Yeah, don't be so surprised, Robbie, because all of a sudden they make the deal and they make Atlanta eat half that contract, and Kirk loved it here. So we'll see what happens. But first, before we hear from the coach and the players and the principals, let's hear from our great sponsor, the Select Minnesota Buick GMC dealers. GMC trucks weren't built overnight. Like every American achievement, they are a result of dedication, a dedication to mastering the art of design and the science of engineering, to building upon prior knowledge year after year, decade after decade. GMC, over 100 years dedicated to the art of engineering and the ambition to always move this country forward. We are professional grade, well qualified buyers get 0% APR on 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 crew cab models with a 5.3 liter engine with an average finance savings of $4,692. See your select Minnesota GMC dealers. Only on 5.3 liter V8 engine for purchase allowance. Length of contract limited. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers will not qualify. Savings based on bank rate of 5.64%. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 1/2/26. Kevin O'Connell, much happier after this game. And obviously so. Why would you not be? Even though I'm sure that he, as his fellow coaches, players, and Vikings Nation are thinking back to so many of these games that they could have won, should have won, if they played better, if the quarterback played better, if the defense forced more turnovers, the special teams didn't make huge errors. And I'm thinking of Atlanta, who's in the tank now. I'm thinking of Pittsburgh, who they could have beaten Dublin. I'm thinking of Baltimore, who struggled this year. Now they're 6-7. I'm thinking of the Bears, if they stop that kickoff return with 50 seconds to go and with a 1-point lead, maybe they win that game. Even the Eagles game, where Carson Wentz threw a couple picks and the secondary went out to lunch in that game. And if the Vikings had won 3 of those games that they could have won, all of a sudden 5-8 becomes 8-5. You're in the hunt for the playoffs, maybe even still in the hunt for the division title to maybe win one more of those games. Didn't happen, but Kevin O'Connell talking post game about the importance of winning at home. Really an important thing. It was J.J. McCarthy's first home victory. The Vikings had lost several games in a row at home. Now they're 2-4 in the season at home, not good enough. And he talked about McCarthy's performance and overcoming adversity.
We gave them the type of performance that the best home environment, best fan base in football deserves at US Bank Stadium. Very proud of our team. Really felt like, in a lot of ways, whether you're talking the physicality which we played with, protected the football, able to make some plays in the passing game, but be efficient enough running the football to stay ahead of the chains, limited penalties. And then, like I said, our defense doing great work all day long, keeping them out of the end zone. 4th down stop, huge. We wanted to start fast, took the ball, and able to put a touchdown on the board. And then defense gets the stop, and then we can keep the ball for the next 12 minutes on a very long drive from our own 2-yard line. 3rd down conversions. I thought JJ had some phenomenal plays on 3rd down, and then just continued to play within himself. Decision-making was going to be the priority today, and felt like he played a very clean game, protected the football, like I said, ran the show. So very proud.
Kevin O'Connell, I'm sure, was thrilled with JJ's first half accuracy, 9 of 11, 99 yards. Several of his completions were on those difficult sideline throws that he's missed often this year. The throw up the middle to Jefferson on 3rd and 12 for 13 yards, that he sailed that ball a few times. And so that was really a positive thing to see. Vikings, the first team since the 1992 Broncos to shut out a team the week after being shut out. What a stat. And
Incredible.
the first team ever to have 2 games of 25 plus points where these shutouts occurred.
Insane. No, absolutely. No, it just shows you, Jeff, that the team is talented but volatile. And
Yeah.
if they can just harness all the good output that they put forth with on all phases, we saw it all yesterday line up. It's like, I compare it basically, and I know this may be a dumb comparison, but like when you're at a casino and you forget the new slot machines with the videos, I'm talking about the old school ones with just the sevens or the cherries or the bells. Yesterday we had Bell. We had 7, 7, 7. We had offense, defense, special teams. We lined up. We hit the jackpot. And what happened? They didn't allow a point. They scored 30. They played great yesterday, and I'm very proud of them for putting forth an effort yesterday at home that the fans really needed to see, because your season ticket holders yesterday have been through some garbage this year. Garbage. That Falcon game was crapola. So yesterday was makeup for it. And despite them probably not going to the playoffs, it was a lot of fun to see them dominate a team that has basically quit on the season.
Yeah, and as we said, couple road games coming up that I think are winnable games. Dallas had played better until all of a sudden Detroit scores 44 on them. Jared Goff throws for over 300. There's an opportunity there. Cowboys are a long shot now to make the playoffs too. They're not feeling so hot. The Giants, we know it's been a struggle for them. When Jackson Dart's in there, it's a little better, but we'll see what happens when they go to New York. And then a couple, if they can win those games, then come back and have the Lions on a short week, having to travel on Christmas, and then the Packers. Who knows? All of a sudden, you finish strong and have good feelings for next year, even if you're not a playoff team. And I've seen strange things happen with playoffs. And at the end of the season, all of a sudden, teams go in the tank, and whoa, it's never over till it's over. But for the Vikings, as we said, it's really about JJ McCarthy and closing the season strong. He talked after the game.
From the guys, it means a lot, and it's just something that I feel like should have happened a lot earlier. So I absolutely love those guys for the grace and patience they've had with me, but we got to continue to do it again. You're only as successful as your last successful act, and we're going to get to work tomorrow, Tuesday or Wednesday, and keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, playing quarterback in the NFL is not an easy job. It's probably the toughest job in sports. This guy has 7 career starts, and he had his best one on Sunday. Hey, you look around the league, Patrick Mahomes, 3 interceptions as the Chiefs fell to 6 and 7, and they're on the brink of elimination. Joe Burrow, 2 interceptions at the end of that game with Buffalo. So it's not an easy job. And McCarthy did a great job on Sunday. We'll see if he can continue that. Justin Jefferson, only 2 catches for 11 yards, but did have that big 13-yarder on the 98-yard drive. They were doubling him all day. McCarthy taking Addison, Hawkinson, Oliver, the guys that were open. He still took the shot to Jefferson deep, which I liked him doing, but unfortunately he was kind of pressured off his spot and had to throw a little bit late. So it became a 50-50 ball that Justin often comes down with. It was good that McCarthy made the throw. If he's able to make that throw earlier, Jefferson's wide open, as we saw. But here's Jefferson after the game talking about happy to get the win.
Right for us. JJ going through his reads and making the right reads and just getting the ball, in and out of his hands and just letting us, go work, the rest for him. So it was just a great team effort. Defense played very, very well. Offense played good. Special teams played good. So it was an all-around team win.
Can you enjoy yourself when you're not getting the ball a lot?
Of course. I mean, when you win, I'd rather win and not get the ball than lose and not get the ball. So as long as we win in and this team coming in here with a happy smile on their face and, we have that confidence to continue on and continue to next week and to better ourselves and, to make sure that, we continue this feeling. That's the main objective.
Couple more Vikings on defense we're going to hear from, and then we're going to go around the league real quickly and talk about that big Packers win over the Bears. Jonathan Allen and Jonathan, 8 years with the Commanders. One of the clients of my agent firm. Great guy, and really happy for him to get this win over his former team, and so was he.
For me, I think it's more important that we put a complete game together. I think that's something that we haven't been able to do this year that much. So for us to do it, especially against them, was special today.
What do you like most about what Gink brings to the table? He's kind of a unique kind of guy out there.
Yeah, I think he's a complete player, man. He can definitely rush the passer and get sacked, but he can also make huge plays in the passing game and cover. So I think he's that unicorn that really can do both.
And he's talking about Andrew Van Ginkel, of course, and what a key playmaker he is for this defense. Pro Bowl outside linebacker, edge rusher last year. He this year struggled with the neck injury, missed a bunch of games. That really hurt the defense to lose that playmaker. Andrew Van Ginkel, and he was talking after the game about the big play that he made on Sunday.
I'm having a knack for the game, kind of with our scheme and how Flores likes to call it. We get certain types of plays and certain type of looks, so it allows me to play fast within the scheme and anticipate plays. And Flo's always allowing me to do that. But yeah, Jonathan Allen, props to him. I'm a great player, and that's special for him to call me that.
Is it surprising sometimes that they still try it, knowing that you put that on film so many times?
To a certain degree, but we're, with how much we blitz and how much we put pressure on the quarterback and offensive coordinators, they have to do something to get the ball out quick. And, if they don't, the ball, they're going to get sacked. Like, it's just kind of what it is. And, I feel like I have a good understanding of when those plays come and when there's an opportunity to make a play like that.
So a big confidence building win for the Vikings over the Commanders. And yeah, the Commanders struggled this year after having a great season last year. Still a lot of good players in that team, including Jaden Daniels, and the Vikings confused him. Guys like Van Ginkel, Harrison Smith. I thought Harrison had probably his best game of the year in terms of just disruption. A couple of blitzes. He was in Daniels' face, forcing errant throws, and had the interception off Marcus Mariota after on the Van Ginkel interception, and Isaiah Rodgers knocks Daniels to the ground and hurts his elbow, and Daniels is out of the game in the third quarter, and Mariota comes in, throws the pick to Harrison Smith. So many good things happened. Vikings, as we said, will now get ready to go to Dallas for a big Sunday night national TV game next week against the 6-1 Cowboys. Dak Prescott, that offense, it's going to be a big challenge for the secondary. They're going to have to get the pass rush going, get pressure on Prescott. When you got CeeDee Lamb, you got George Pickens, Ferguson, some really good players on that Cowboys offense, one of the top offenses in the league. Their defense very shaky, so the Vikings will try to have a ball control offense like they had against Washington, 35 minutes of time possession. That'll be the key. Then they get the Giants. As I said, you're talking about two teams that are really down in pass defense and on defense. Around the league, the big game, of course, Green Bay Packers at home at Lambeau, chilly day, about 16 degrees or so, and the temperature went down, and the Packers got the big win, 28-21 over the Bears, take over first place in the NFC North at 9-3-1. Bears dropped to 9-4. They went from the number 1 seed to number 7 in the NFC. The Lions are on their trail at 8-5, and the Lions have a head-to-head over Chicago. So the Bears, it's a game where Caleb Williams makes the fatal mistake at the end, throws the interception to Keyshawn Nixon. Packers emerge with that win. I think that they're the best team in the NFC North. I think they're going to win the division. Some other big games around the league. Certainly a big injury in Indianapolis or in Jacksonville as the Jaguars triumphed over the Colts, but Daniel Jones, the Vikings ex-quarterback back into last year, tears his Achilles, really kind of sinks the Colts' chances this year in that division.
You were with the Titans, obviously, for a long period of time, and now in that division sits the Titans, Jaguars, Texans, and Colts. And if you look, putting aside your former team, the Tennessee Titans, and the rebuild that they're going through, the other 3 teams in that division have done a tremendous job in building programs and kind of switching things over with the problems that Trevor Lawrence had early on, and now they've built a team around him. Obviously, the Texans have the number 1 defense in the league, and the Colts, we've seen what happened with Daniel Jones. So from a divisional standpoint, I think that's one of the more underrated. People don't take the AFC South, as you know, as seriously as they take other legacy teams. Like, oh, the Titans are coming in here, or the Jaguars, and it's just these newer teams. But I think they're real this year. And from what we saw last night, I'm sure you're going to get to. How about the Texans last night in
Yeah,
Kansas
definitely.
City?
Yeah, definitely. That defense, number one defense in the league. They intercept Patrick Mahomes 3 times. They get a huge 20-10 win in Kansas City. Texans improved to 8-5. They're right in the hunt. That was a huge game. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Pittsburgh, that surprised a lot of people. The Steelers went into Baltimore and beat the Ravens, and Aaron Rodgers having a very effective game. DK Metcalf, 148 yards receiving. And so all of a sudden, the Steelers looking good in that AFC North. The Saints knock off the Bucks. The Tampa Bay's reeling, and now they're tied with Carolina in the NFC South. So a lot of interesting things happening around the league. Josh Allen, another big game for the Bills, and Sam Darnold, 3 touchdown passes. They blow out Atlanta. Kirk Cousins, 2 interceptions. So it's going to be an interesting final 4 weeks in the NFL season. And for the Vikings, they just want to continue on the path that they started against the Commanders with the type of team that everybody was hoping we'd see all year and finally did show up on Sunday, certainly against the Commanders. It was there a few weeks ago against Detroit, and we'll see how they play down the stretch. And we'll be back on Thursday to preview Vikings and the Cowboys in Dallas Sunday night. This has been Jeff Diamond's Purple Report, brought to you every Monday and Thursday during the Viking season by your select Minnesota Buick GMC dealers in the 2025 GMC Sierra 1500 on 1500 ESPN, available 24/7 on YouTube via link from the Score North website. This is Jeff Diamond with Robbie Rosenhaus, and we will talk to you on Thursday as we preview Vikings Cowboys.